all come to pray. Going back for warriors, keeping the whispers away. In suits and in skirts, we're the rebels you say. Talking about life and dreaming of a different day. On the back row we stay, in the back we don't sway. Just let the sermon flow, we're on the back row.
It is time for another episode of the Cultural Hall. It is an Articles of News episode. So much news always coming in, and being able to be the wizard himself. It's like I think news. This is a cool magic trick people don't know. I think news, and Verlin pops up on my computer when I go to turn it on. He joins me to talk all things news of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Verlin, how are you?
I am doing well.
Verlin, when I messaged him and said, "Hey, I'm ready to go," he's like, "Tonight, right?" And I said, "No, now."
3 minutes.
Yeah, we're very fun in the way that we go. Yeah, today. No, actually not. No, tomorrow. But yes, no, actually. Harder than you'd think to coordinate two schedules together. Has your life been? How have you been? What's new?
Life is good.
Yeah.
Life is good. I apologize to everyone who may be watching this on YouTube, but I'm in my workout gear because I just got back from the gym trying to build the muscle strength. And secondarily, the other self-improvement project, I went to the dermatologist. She said, all of your poorly spent hours in the sun as a youth are causing problems. So she's had me put this cream on my face every night for 2 weeks.
Yep.
And it is burning every living potential cancer cell off of my head and face. And so I apologize for anyone that may see my lizard-like skin today.
Well, and
but it's working.
What's interesting about that cream is it's like, man, don't confuse that with your toothpaste or something like that, because that is some very active, let's get after it kind of stuff.
Yeah, they tell you as soon as you've put it on, wash your hands, don't get it on anything else. And I understand why. It's nothing's painful except when you touch it. So
Oh, and when you look at it.
well, thank you very much. That too. But the goal is that it prevents it from getting that way all the time.
So is that like the precursor to the having stuff frozen off? Because I've had that happen before.
Yep. Yeah, supposedly if you do this every 5 years, then you shouldn't have to have too much frozen off. But I have spots that have been surgically removed from my arms and my shoulders. Again, I grew up in a time where sunscreen was an interesting concept. We never used it. So I spent lots of time out in the sun as a youth, and then on my mission, literally in the sun every single day, no hat, no sunscreen.
Oh my gosh.
And in a tropical country. So
yeah,
I've
serving
set
in
myself
Haiti
up well.
and they're like, why is that guy's skin always red and blistery and peeling?
In my recollection, I had the best tan I'd ever had in my life on my mission. But
yeah, I can remember pictures. So I served in Cleveland, the Haiti of the United States.
I'm going to Cleveland this fall, actually.
For what?
So my son and my son-in-law and I do a boys baseball weekend every fall. And our goal is to hit 3 cities, 3 teams, 3 games in 3 days.
Okay.
And so I think this year's program is Chicago White Sox one night, Cincinnati Reds the next night.
Also, don't bother.
Cleveland Guardians the next night.
What's the Jake called now? I don't even know what the Jake is called.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's the www.insurify.com field.
Something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The last time I went, it was Jacobs Field, as it should be.
I've never been to the Cleveland Stadium. It's one of the few I have not visited yet, so I get to check that off as well.
It's cool. It's cool that it's downtown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. And we'll go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame either earlier that day or the next morning.
Yeah, there's lots of good restaurants. It's sort of, they do that district thing like they do. Chicago does not have that.
Atlanta has that.
Yeah.
Chicago has some restaurants around it. I've been to that park a couple of times.
Sure. Like right around it.
Yeah.
Like
not too far afield.
Like very adjacent to it. Be careful how far you walk away from.
Half a block is good.
Yeah. Is that Cellular Field? What is Chicago's field right now?
Honestly, I don't keep up with the names at all. I don't know. Last year we did
the Delta Center. Is it the Delta Center?
No, it's not the Delta Center. Last year we did Boston and Baltimore and New York Mets.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
And the
just
year
a
before that,
constant
we did the
disappointment
Phillies
of
and
a
the
weekend.
Yankees.
Is that what that was?
Well, yeah. Number one, I seldom have a team there that's playing that I'm rooting for. My home team are the A's and the Giants.
Hmm.
And the A's, I'm questioning whether they'll still continue to be one of my home teams or not with their move.
Yeah.
We'll see.
To
If
Las
they move
Vegas
to
for
Salt
people who
Lake,
don't know.
maybe, yeah. So no, we just go to have fun and eat crappy food for 3 days and sit on our butts watching a baseball game and experience each of those stadiums and have some good father, son, son-in-law time.
Make sure you get a hot dog in
Oh,
Cleveland.
absolutely.
Cleveland known for shaming people that try and put anything but mustard on
Yeah.
a hot dog. Really, I went when I first got there. There was a place that no longer exists, but I was like, "Oh yeah, maybe some ketchup," and they're like, "We don't do that in this town,"
No.
and they would not. They would not allow me to purchase or get a ketchup packet, anything like that.
Yeah,
I'm
there's a
not
hot
sure.
dog place in downtown Raleigh that has the same thing. They've been making hot dogs for over 100 years now, and nothing but mustard allowed.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep. Well, I'm glad you're able to enjoy a little bit of Americana. I'm not sure when that weekend is, so you don't even have to worry about inviting me. I'm working. So,
Well, we're aiming for Labor Day weekend.
no, I'm working.
So,
I'm working. I just
I
told
figured
you.
you would be. Figured you would be.
I
But we'd love a personal tour guide in Cleveland. I mean, you've been there.
I'll show you all the places that you should not go to now, but that
Okay.
I had no thought about being dangerous and or places that I should not be. I just was like, yeah, I'm 19. It's whatever. It's cool.
Don't
I'm
you
on the
love
Lord's
that? Yeah,
errand.
you were being edgy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when you go
Yeah.
back, you go, oh my gosh, was it like this? Guys, was it like this when I was here before? Well,
Yeah.
is it?
Well, when I do that in Port-au-Prince, I actually don't mind still going anywhere in Port-au-Prince. It freaks my Haitian friends out. They're like, "Why would you go to that neighborhood?" I'm like, "I've been there a million times. I'm happy
Mhm,
to go again."
mhm.
Yeah, let's do it. So,
Man dies in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, thinking,
yep,
I can go here. It's fine. Those
that'll
were his
that'll be
last
the end of
words.
it one day. Yeah,
But they don't even let Americans in really into Haiti right now,
not
do they?
right. They do, but only stupid Americans go right now.
Because
Yeah,
it's so dangerous.
yeah, it's so dangerous.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there.
So you're not as brave as you're trying to put out there, Verlin. You're
Well,
like,
I've
oh
told my
yeah, I'll
friends
go
there whenever
wherever.
whenever they say that I can come, I'll be the first one on the plane. So,
Oh, now that I'll
yeah.
go with you. I'll go with you. I'll bring the riot gear. What's that thing that the like the shield? I'll
Oh
just
yeah,
come and
yeah,
walk
the
alongside you.
plexiglass shield.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we'll wear
Plexiglass
helmets.
shield.
I'll invite you along. You're more than
Done.
welcome to come.
I'm working that weekend.
I'm still waiting for the invite to Chicago for the jazz club.
Shoot, where did I put that? It's in your mailbox. Look, keep looking in your mailbox.
Okay.
It's coming. It's
I'll
a
look.
couple of weeks away. Keep it. It's gonna come. POD, postage on demand or on
Oh,
delivery.
nice.
So
Yeah,
in
yeah,
order to
good
get
old
the
days.
letter, yeah,
COD,
yeah.
COD, cash on
But
delivery.
yeah. You'll
Yeah.
have to pay to get the letter that says you're not invited.
Can you believe we used to do that? We used to
Uh,
pay to get mail sometimes.
well, even as recently as the last couple of years, that happened to me one time.
Did it?
Yeah,
Oh,
an interview I was going to do, they sent me a book and they wanted me to have to pay for the shipping to get the book to me. Now,
of
here's the
course.
deal. They don't tell you, like, this is where this is from, or, here's what the contents, like, open it and then agree to pay for
Yeah.
it or not. You have to pay and then you get it. And it was a book that I would never do an interview about. And I was like, what is this? Are they is it a racket? That's
I'd be
actually
worried
what
it
I
was a
thought.
box from Mark Hoffman or something.
I wish, again, I just wasn't invited. I want his second to last box, to be clear. I don't want the last box from
That's
Mark
right.
Hoffman.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Because that was a bomb, everyone, if you don't know. And
If
he
you don't know, you don't know.
other than that, all sort of jokes aside, I did this thing where because of doing the DJ stuff, I look at when I have open, and hey, maybe I could go on a vacation there. And I realized that just this last week I booked my last free weekend. So now I'll be working
Oh,
every weekend. We're going on a family vacation. There was a place that I went to every summer for a couple of weeks as a kid that all of the siblings now as adults, we're all going back and going to go to the same place again for a week. That's the one vacation I'm doing this year. Otherwise, if I'm not somewhere I'm supposed to be, it's because I'm working because I've booked every single weekend
oh
since.
my gosh.
Yeah. till
Wow.
November, till the 1st of November.
So you're saying you can't do my birthday this year?
Well, you got to get in earlier than all that, Verlin. I can't just hold the date.
Well, I've got you on my funeral list already,
Good,
so
good, good. And Susan said that may be coming a little sooner than we think. So
all depends on how this home renovation is
that's
going.
exactly what she said. She said if he gives me too much feedback on the colors, forget it. We're out.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to look at floor coverings and tile this afternoon.
That sounds awful.
So here's the words I've practiced.
Uh-huh.
That looks wonderful.
Yep.
Yes, that looks wonderful. Yes, I like that. Those are my responses.
All jokes aside, are you a pretty like, yeah, whatever you like kind of guy?
I would say most of the time, yes. And
Hmm.
when I'm not, we come to quick decisions anyway on
Hmm.
things. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think we have an overall agreement on the look and feel of things, so it should be fine.
Drives my wife crazy because we'll talk about things and she'll be like, "What do you think?" And I think, and I say out loud, "This is I'm still learning. I could learn a lot from a Verlin." I still say out loud, "Well, I don't care about this at all. So if you weren't around, I wouldn't do any of this." Let's give that as a caveat. Like,
Well, I think in a relationship, I think you start a relationship that way,
mhm,
and then you start acting very nice, kind of midterm relationship, I'll say 20 years in.
okay,
And now that I'm close to 40 years in,
uh-huh,
I'm back to where I started, which
okay,
is I really don't care, or you do whatever you want, or why are you asking me?
yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. My thing is, I solve for simplicity, and then I don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to do this so that we have all these things that then we have to take care of every day. No. Hey, I want to do all this and then it will be done and we never have to worry about this again. Why have we not done this thing already?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good plan.
I want to change this to
Good plan.
this. Okay, but we're never changing it again. Are you all right with that? Yes. Okay, let's change it. We're done.
So all this simplicity stuff because you make your professional life incredibly difficult,
Yes.
right? Three
And
days, 3 days out in the sun and dealing with crowds and cold at the same time and
and
performances and the like. I can't believe you're sitting upright right now.
being on and being hosty for 8 hours.
Doesn't that hurt your face? I mean, every time I see your videos, you're smiling. Do your
Oh.
cheeks ever seriously, do they get sore?
Yeah, cheeks
Yeah.
get sore. One lady came up to me yesterday, and then I promise we'll take a break and we'll share our articles of news. Got a lot of news today. Um, this lady comes up to me and she said she at the very end of yesterday, and she says, "Hey, I just have to come up and tell you, great job." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. That's not why I share the story." And I said, "Oh, thank you." And she says, I think it's great the way that you can entertain yourself." And I said, well, thank you, knowing full well what she's talking about. But then she's like, let me tell you the instance when I saw you do this. And I was like, okay, let's go. She was talking to me about, so it's at a ski resort. It's the big line, the big gondola that gets everyone to all the different places on the mountain. And people stand in line and they kind of want to wait for their friends before they officially get in line. So there's this one instance yesterday, and I'm representing, though I don't work for the resort. I represent the resort itself, and so I'm saying something
Hmm.
like, "Ladies and gentlemen, if you can please make sure that as you're waiting for your party, that you're waiting for your party not where the line begins. That gets confusing for some patrons to be able to use the gondola ride today." So that was the first announcement. Second
Also, you
announcement.
have it, you have reader announcements that you drop in every once in a while.
Well, it's just a thing that I've sort of, I've manufactured and then I do it. And the second announcement is, if you're still finding yourself waiting at the back of the line and starting to confuse people that are around you, not knowing where the end of the line is, take an opportunity and think, am I the person that he's talking about on the microphone right now? Maybe that could be it, right? And these people, it's a group of like 8 guys still standing in the same place. And then the next announcement is, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please move from the back of the line to somewhere else on the resort's property to wait, and I
Oh,
just
you don't you don't
look at,
go to the point of, hey, the 8 guys standing there, one with the
well,
red jacket,
yeah.
blue jacket, green
So,
jacket.
so fourth announcement, hey, orange jacket, orange jacket. These announcements have been for you. I don't want to be a jerk, but we need you to stand somewhere else. Please stand somewhere else. I'm talking to you. And then finally they moved. That woman saw that whole interaction of different announcements, and I was tickled by it because I was just like, I am
She
talking to you.
noticed. She noticed.
Be aware of the space which you take up as a human being. So very often, the things that drive me crazy are where people are like, no, I mean, I'm just doing this thing.
So would the resort get upset if when people are doing idiotic things, you actually call it out and say, "Hey, purple jacket,
Uh,
that was pretty rude of you cutting off that person as you came down that last slope," or "Hey, guy with the
yeah,
white coat on, what were you
yeah,
thinking?" You
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's real specific. I'll do things like tips up, sir, sir, tips up, tips up, tips up, and then he finally gets the hint and then walks by. But very
Yep.
rarely will I be so specific, but these people were just so oblivious. I feel the same thing at Costco. I wish there was someone like me at Costco on a speaker that's like, as you're
Oh,
coming around the aisle, know that there will be people there, so don't stop.
that's
If you're
right.
in the
That's
middle
right.
of the aisle traversing towards the meat department, don't stop your cart and look around. People are trying to get places. Take to the side, tuck away.
I'm
Oh,
not quite the age, but I ended up at Costco on a certain morning
oh.
get to grab something, and I realized that I was the youngest person in the store that
Yeah,
morning,
you were.
and it was a nightmare. It
Ugh.
was a nightmare.
Well, look what you have to look forward to. Nightmares.
Exactly. I am not doing that nightmare.
Susan, you want to go now? I think we have to. I think we have to, Verlin. Let's go. Taking a
Yeah.
break. When we come back with actual articles of news, stories that we are talking about today, things like, well, basketball. From a true basketball fan, someone speaking about everything with the BYU with actual experience. We're going to talk about the Manosphere, masculinity, and the LDS Church. We'll get into some of that as well. That'll all come back in the second half of articles of news. BestDJinUtah.com is the website. That is where you go if you would like me to come and DJ your event. Now, will I do a family reunion where you all wear the same t-shirts? You bet I will. Will I travel to wherever you're at? Uh-huh. Am I reasonable as far as what I cost? Yes. Yes. Do I bring a good time? Yeah, all the things. Listen, Best DJ in Utah, it's my company. It's a thing I do that allows me to be able to have the time to do the cultural hall. So if someone's getting married, you think, man, they need a great DJ. You're throwing a party, whether it's a 50th or 60th or 40th or 20th or whatever the party is. I've done them all and would love to be able to do that. An anniversary party, certainly done those. I did a baptism in 2023. Yeah, we did a big dance party at a baptism. Spoiler, not a Mormon baptism, but it was fun nonetheless. BestDJinUtah.com is a website. I will get back to you within 24 hours with a quote. Come on now. BestDJinUtah.com. In the second half of Articles of News, we actually talk about articles of news of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So what I would invite Brother Peter Breinholt to come in and please hit it there, Peter.
You can't lose articles of news.
And away we go. You want to start because you are a sports fanatic. In fact, you are the most fanatical sport person I know personally that
I'm
I
not
can stand.
sure.
No,
Really?
you are for me that I
Wow.
can
Wow.
stand and want to be around at all. You are the most sports fanatical person I know.
Well, we need to spend some time with my wife then.
She's more fanatical?
Way, yeah, way more.
Really?
Although I'm fanatical about two teams,
Uh-huh.
I'm semi-fanatical about two teams. She is fully fanatical about one team.
And is she a yeller? Oh, come on.
Oh
That
yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I like her. Man, I like her
Especially
more
when
and
we're
more.
visiting if we're visiting another stadium or another arena, she's the one that's, the annoying fan of the visiting team.
Do you have to
Yep.
put your hand on her leg and say, I can't defend you?
No,
Okay. She can defend herself.
no, because mostly she'll smack me if I put my hand on her leg and suggest such a thing.
Good, 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 good. Babe, listen, I love that you love this so much. I'm not going to fight your fight. So if you get
No.
yourself into trouble, I'm walking away.
Yeah.
University of Arizona and the BYU Cheers. Now, we've talked about this a little in previous articles of news, but it continues to be a thing. It shows up. It's more, it's deeper. It's a deeper rooted thing. So what do you have to say about all this?
Well, I think a couple of things. Number one, this is becoming a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened in multiple schools. It continues to happen. And lots of people come up with lots of excuses. And I understand fans can be a little boisterous and a little crazy. And, BYU fans at times can be almost as bad as other fans, although I've never heard them chant F the whatevers.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the case where there's really, really bad things happening, like happened at the University of Arizona after the game, then I think we need to start thinking about taking an approach that's a little more serious. So, for those that don't know, when this has happened in the past, usually what ends up happening is within an hour or two, the athletic director of whatever college or school they're playing at comes out and makes a formal apology. And I
And
agree,
that's
it's
at
good.
the game. They come out at the game and
No,
say,
it's usually in the
yep,
press
yep,
afterwards,
sure.
a couple of hours later. Um, but they usually come out and say, "We're sorry. This isn't who we are. We don't, accept this. We respect is what we believe in." And in almost every venue I've gone to in the last, gosh, 5 years, there's a little blurb at the beginning of every game, usually just before the national anthem, that says, we're here to respect each other and it's an athletic competition. And those that are, engaging in these kinds of disrespectful activities will be asked to leave.
Hmm.
Well, the problem with this is it happens after the game. So asking someone to leave is not really anything that's a threat.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, I guess I'll leave. Oh, I was leaving anyway.
yeah.
Yep.
And so the excuse that was used at the University of Arizona that people have started to use and repeat is, well, it was just some, drunk fraternity boys that were there chanting this.
Hmm.
Well, that's a convenient excuse, but now that it's happened at multiple places, is it drunk fraternity boys everywhere?
Yes, it's like
Um,
you and your sons going across there trying to get all the
exactly.
games in the week, just getting drunk
Drunk on Diet Coke and hot dogs and, uh,
and going around yelling F the Mormons at all the different.
that's right. So my view is because they make that statement at the beginning,
Mhm.
because they say it's such an important thing, why don't you ban those particular fans from future events for the rest of the season or for a
Sure.
certain number of games? And people say, well, how are you going to identify them? I'm sorry, there's cameras and video posted at every single one of these games.
Yeah.
It is not hard to identify the individuals that are guilty. You won't catch everyone,
Sure.
but if you start penalizing a certain number of them, I think it'll ratchet down a little bit.
So so let me ask you this about that because I'm not opposed to something like that. But if I'm chanting and I'm a frat boy and I'm a little drunk and I say things like that guy sucks, like that's sort of mean, but it's not
That's
the
totally
level of that.
fine.
So
Yeah.
what's the difference? And I
I
know
I
there's
think
an ex-
maybe what you do is set a standard and say, here's the using curse words against an individual, and here's the words we're talking about.
Mhm.
I think you make that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the
Okay.
same way they'll pull people out for other behaviors at a game.
Sure.
Well, how do they draw that line? They publicize what that line is. If you're caught engaging the following behavior, you will be removed from the stadium.
Yeah. I mean, we do it with heaven, so there's no reason we can't do that with basketball games.
The question is, are you allowed back in later?
Ooh, good question. Good question. What I'm trying to figure out, and if someone listening to this knows, contact at theculturalhall.com. With this particular story in Arizona, there one of the like substacks that I read said that it was something about the history of the church, that they were saying something about the either the foundation or like the history of the church. Maybe that's someone saying historically we've been known as Mormons and people were saying F the Mormons, but if it was something beyond that, I would love to know, like you have many wives or whatever the thing is. I'd love to know if it's beyond just the typical thing that we know has been chanted multiple times.
Yeah, and actually, that chant you just said wouldn't bother me at all. I would laugh. I would
Yeah.
think that's pretty hilarious. Or
Well, it's not
who's
funny to
your
me.
who's your mother, or
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. In,
How
in
many
your
moms
interview
do
with
you have?
JT, he talked about some of the chants that he had gotten in his career,
Yes.
and he just shook them off and thought they were hilarious.
Sure.
He talked specifically about one fan base at the Air Force.
Hmm.
They are the most well-prepared fan base to cheer against the other team in all of college sports.
As they should be.
Um, yeah, they do serious research on each player. I was at a game once where one of the players' fathers was in prison,
Oh no.
and
Oh
they
no.
literally the whole cadet corps was chanting, "Your dad's a convict. Your dad's a convict." I mean, it
And is
was.
that okay? Is that sporting? That's okay?
I don't know. That's starting to get close to the line for me,
Sure.
but you're trash talking like the
Sure.
players on the court trash talk.
Of course. Of
But when you're
course.
disrespecting an entire group of people, like people have said, if anyone said F the Jews or F the Muslims or F
Yes.
the
Oh my gosh.
whatevers, it wouldn't be accepted by anyone else.
See, and what I thought I read, I think the response that is if the team can hear it, the game is going on. I think that they sit down,
Oh, I think that's an interesting one. I like that.
right? Middle of the game. Hey, refs, this chant is going on, and they sit down.
Ah, I like that too.
A forfeit of a game I thought was a little too much. That was another thing. Like
Yeah,
if your student body starts to chant this, then you automatically lose the game. I don't know that that's fair to the players, especially in how tight that Arizona game was. I mean, I don't know that
yeah,
there's things like
yeah.
that that would be appropriate, but
The other thing, I mean, officials do assess penalties against the crowd occasionally. And so they could use one of those crowd penalties, right?
yeah,
A technical foul against the crowd. I think they do that if things are being thrown onto the court.
sure.
Or in my days at BYU, we used to throw tortillas out onto the field if certain things happened,
I
like
don't.
frisbees,
I
and it was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Why was that? I don't remember. I've heard the
This
story
was
about it.
late 80s,
Okay,
late mid to late 80s, yeah.
just throwing out a tortilla.
Yeah, something happened, we would throw out tortillas like frisbees, and they sail a pretty long way, and they're not going to hurt anyone if they hit somebody,
Sure.
and they'd end up on the field. It was hilarious. But
Well, okay, okay. That's a lot of controversy around that. I will also say I was fascinated as I went down a rabbit hole of how much money is going to BYU's future basketball players.
yes,
And now how BYU went from like, oh, there, I mean, they'll make the dance to we are bidding
we're
essentially on
committing. Yeah,
these top players, and how there are very wealthy Latter-day Saints who are like, I'm tired of BYU not being better in basketball. Let's go. And now I can put my money where my fandom is and being able to make that. That's not just Ryan Smith. That's several people who have said, let's go.
oh,
Let's get these
absolutely.
people.
Well, and this is the world of current college athletics. If you don't do that, you
Hmm.
will fall behind. So the
Yep.
University of North Carolina this year has had a terribly mediocre season. My second alma mater, my second fandom. And it's largely because they did not quickly enough execute a plan to buy players.
Hmm.
Now, for many of us, we believe the certain conferences have been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years, although it
Sure.
was against the law. Now it's allowed. If you are not aggressively taking this approach, you're not going to get players. The thing I love about people complaining about BYU and saying BYU has bought their team is they for the most they offered a single player was no more than what four other universities were offering that same player.
Yeah.
And so they didn't, in fact, outbid in terms of money. They outbid in terms of culture and
Hmm.
in terms of values and in terms of the coaching staff and where that player thought he would be able to go after playing at BYU.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty excited actually for next year at BYU. I'm actually hoping that a couple of people they thought might be drafted out this year will get large NIL payments to stay one more year and play with that the other two people that are coming in next year, and we could have a killer team at BYU.
All right. All right. He's pointing to the outfield and saying, let's do it.
Yeah, I think
That,
it's a Final Four team if that happens.
oh, yeah. All
I
right.
do.
You heard it here. You heard it
Yep.
here. Uh, the next story, just brief worth mentioning. On a boat or on a plane, it's coming to America, the musical about Messiah in America. We've done an interview. I want to say this is probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, with uh, maybe Brett Stewart. I have to go back and look at this. If it is, it'll be in the show notes. But talking about Messiah in America, it was like an oratorio, very orchestral and symphony and all that kind of thing.
Very, very
And
Handel-like. Yeah.
yes, and now they're revamping it to be very musical theater about
Very,
Christ coming
very
to the
Broadway.
Americas.
Very. I'm kind of hoping they lean into more of the Hamilton style,
Oh, like a
personally.
rap?
I would love if they did something that wasn't quite so what's the right word? So stereotypically Broadway. I would love it if they kind of went to the edge somewhere with it.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
I the idea of like a rap or rap adjacent version of the Savior coming to America is interesting enough for me to go, wait, what?
Yeah. I don't know if have you seen, I don't know how up you are on Broadway shows, and I'm not the very best, but we try to see a couple every year.
Hmm.
I saw a Broadway show called Six
Yes.
a few years ago
Uh-huh.
about King Henry's wives,
Hmm.
and it's essentially a popular music show with rock and pop and R&B and rap, and I loved it. It was fantastic. So I would love kind of a Six approach to the Messiah coming to America.
Yeah, and it's six women roles. I think that that's yeah, it's a pretty fascinating kind of concept as far as all that goes.
Hmm.
Uh, it would be curious for me to see it in kind of a different way, like something like that. But then aren't we getting into just like Jesus Christ superstar in the Americas?
Well, I
And then
don't know.
weren't
And the
we
question
expressing
is there something wrong with that? Jesus Christ Superstar was um it had all of the reaction it had because it was the late 60s, early 70s, and the church was in a very conservative, fundamental place. I think our church culturally is quite different now.
Mhm.
And so it would be interesting to see. Some people would say that, we're quite different and we should go back to the old world of the church.
Sure.
I would not be one of those people. Um, but I think it would be interesting.
But there was like statements, as I recall, statements from the
There
church
were.
or leadership to be like, "Don't go see this Jesus Christ superstar." And so a lot
Yeah.
of people of that generation that probably would have, because don't forget, Jesus Christ superstar and Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, same people,
Yes.
but we just are like, no, we like the Joseph. We don't care for the
That's right.
Donnie was in Joseph. He wasn't in Jesus Christ superstar.
True. True.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that is interesting. Although, thinking of the cultural difference, have you listened to BYU radio at all on Sundays lately?
No.
So it's part of my, I don't know, it's just my habit when I'm driving to and from church on Sunday or wherever I'm going, I'm listening to BYU Sunday radio.
Hmm.
And it used to be 5, 6, 7 years ago. It was all either tabernacle choir or very, normal church primary music, very kind of lean on the reverent side.
Hmm.
They've really gotten a lot more Christian rock happening on the radio on Sundays now,
I'm
and
here
it's
for it. I
it's
love a
changed
K
quite a
Love.
bit.
Do they have
Yeah,
K Love in
they
North
do.
Carolina? Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I'll
yeah.
turn that
So
on. In Wyoming, that's the only radio station you can get, and I'll sing that stuff at the top of my lungs. I'm praising and driving
yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of praise music now on KBYU on Sundays.
on KBYU.
Yeah.
The Bachelor, let's go here. I think that's interesting. A big enough deal that if you watch The Bachelor, do we have to explain The Bachelor, people?
I
One
don't know. Are we
guy,
like 20
several
seasons in
girls.
already? Something
Yeah.
like that?
But one of the final contestants on this season's The Bachelor is a
Final
member of the
four.
Church of Jesus Christ of
Yeah.
Latter-day Saints.
Yeah. Yeah, Final Four, and I guess when you're the Final Four, you get a home visit, right?
Hmm.
You go on a date in the person's hometown. I think there's been another member of the LDS Church that has gotten that far. It seemed
Seems
to
like it in the
me.
back of my mind. I'm going to do
I'm
quick
not a I'm
research.
not a bachelorette or bachelor watcher, although I know several people that are. But it's interesting that she's reached that point, and for the episodes that I have seen, I think it would be interesting to see how she navigates this thing with the actions and the discussions that happen and some of the intrigue that goes on in this thing.
I'm trying to see if there is, let's see, all the articles that are coming up on this are about this particular one. So Grant
Yeah,
Ellis is the Bachelor, and Leisha or
yeah,
Lydia,
Lydia, I think Lydia
Lydia
Gar.
Gar, um, a venture capitalist from Salt Lake City. She said that religion is a guiding light in her life. She typically has only dated people of her same religion. She's looking for someone who is honest, vulnerable, and family oriented. She loves sports, including basketball, football, and water polo. She also loves riding horses and is a fan of the board game Clue, which I think is an interesting thing to know about her. I,
Thank
I,
goodness she's not a Risk fan or a Tickets to Ride fan.
I
Yeah.
love that she's being open to it, and as someone that is in a mixed faith marriage, like I understand that you can make it work, but I wonder how that's going, like how that goes. I haven't watched the show, so I don't know Grant's personality at all to be able to react to that. But like, Hey, you want to come on over here? And nope, I'm not doing that until I'm married. All right. Hey, do you want to come meet my family? We believe this very high demand Christian faith. How do you feel about like that? I wonder how that is going to come across.
Yeah. I thought some of their comments were interesting. I mean, she was very upfront and open and saying, I want God to be part of my marriage. I want my kids to grow up in a house where they know that God loves them.
Hmm.
She explains the church has influenced who she is and who she wants to be. I thought it was cool that they asked him about religion, and he made an interesting comment. He said, I'm not very religious, but he says, as many times as I messed up in my life, God has always been there for me.
Hmm.
So he recognized that. Although in the previews, evidently they quote him as saying, "I'm not Mormon. I have tattoos. I wear earrings. I do drink sometimes. Will they accept me?"
To which I
Um,
laughingly posted when I shared this on the Cultural Hall's Facebook page. I said, probably not.
which one do you think will be most offensive? Do we want to guess?
I can already tell you. We can. So here, this is worthwhile. I have tattoos. They'll go, okay. I mean, he didn't know the body of the temple thing. We can look past that. We sort of
Okay,
justify that or
okay.
whatever. Not justify, but we go, okay, we can be all right with that. I wear earrings. All right. Well, lots of people wear earrings, but maybe you don't wear them anymore, or,
Who
something
knows
like
where he
that.
wears them? But yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Or you wear them and we go, okay, but that's fine. It is 100%. I do drink sometimes where we're just like, absolutely not. That is a choice that you
Which
are making that time to do that thing. And there are lots of old jokes which I will not repeat right now, but about drinking being
a
the
member of the church
worst
and drink.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
the member of the
yeah.
church at the party, uh, about drinking being, and
Well, the
it's just
question
how we are.
is he allowed to drink a little bit when he's so many miles from home? I thought there was a rule when you're 100 miles from your hometown in Utah, then you're allowed to drink and do other things.
Yeah, or when you go fishing with your buddy that's
Yeah.
not a member
Or
of
the
the church.
Vegas rule. I
Yeah,
keep hearing
yeah,
about this Vegas rule
yes,
I never took advantage of.
yeah. We justify so many things. It is weird how we do, and by weird I mean maybe unfortunate in some circumstances where
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
stigmify stig. What's the word I'm looking?
Stigmify. I like
Is,
that. That's
is
a good
stigmify a
word.
word? What am I
I
trying
don't
to
think so,
say?
but you just created it and
Yeah,
it
where
makes
we
total
stigmify.
sense.
What is the word I'm
Yeah.
thinking of? Where we
Stigmatize.
stigmatize. There it is. Thank you. Too much work. Where we stigmatize these things and go, oh, well, this okay, this okay, this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you. And it's unfortunate. I think that we scare a lot of people, what who could be at peace and at home within the church, but because of our initial reaction to some of those things in particular, I feel like we do that with smoking a lot too.
We do.
Uh,
Anything you can smell on someone's breath
yeah,
or on their body, we tend to react to that.
yeah, in a big way, and I think in a
Yeah.
bigger way than maybe some other religious organizations.
hmm
Yep.
hmm Yep. No, I think that's too bad. Speaking of that, yesterday sat down and fasted testimony meeting and was singing the opening hymn and got a big whiff of tobacco smell
Hmm.
and thought, isn't that awesome? This
Yeah.
person is sitting here somewhere around me.
Yeah.
That was great.
I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
Let us, I don't have your order. Where would you like to go next?
Well, I think let's go to the homelessness one.
Oh, okay.
I
Perfect.
think this is a really interesting article. Now, we don't have this challenge here in North Carolina where the church is fairly new. We don't have, I don't think, any buildings yet where we've closed a building or sold a building back and built a replacement building. But this is the case of a red brick chapel near 100 South and 700 East that the church had sold off. It was no longer a chapel. And I think it's really cool the use that they're using it for. There's a group. What's the name of the group? Shoot, I had it right
It's the
here.
other side, the
The
other
Other
side
Side.
academy and other side
Yeah.
village.
And the Other Side Village is using this to be a recreational center, and they're going to build a small housing building behind it to help people learn how to combat homelessness and learn how to live on their own and learn how to be a good homeowner and a good tenant and qualify for this housing. So I think it's a great use for a building that was built to help people improve their lives and grow closer to God and so I think that's wonderful use for an old building.
Now, you don't know about this because you are an East Coast person,
Yeah.
but you know the Crucial Conversation books. You've heard of these, I imagine, within
I
the,
have.
yeah, it's a crucial conversation. So you can be able to have those hard conversations with people that you work with. There's a whole like training around it and all that. Are you really pretty familiar with what I'm talking
Not
about?
very. I've
Okay.
just heard of them.
So the guy who, one of the authors of that, his name is Joseph Grenny. He has done amazing work in helping with the Other Side Academy. The Other Side Academy and Other Side Village
Oh,
and all that are people that go to jail and then are able to get out, and they work with the Other Side Academy and are able to get jobs. And these different people within the Other Side Academy, they each hold each other responsible for things, and they have meetings. There's like an Other Side moving company. So these
yep.
guys are able to come out, they're able to get a job, they're able to make money, they're held accountable by other people who've been in the same situation and actually really be able to move from being in the system to being back into real life and have had tremendous amount of success with it. And so this is
Yeah.
just another thing where it's like we can say, "Oh yeah, we'd love to help these people out and we want to prevent chronic homelessness and all these things." But unless we're like, "Hey, you may have never done this before. Let me show you how you do this, and we'll walk alongside." Well, there's no way you could help the millions of people. Yeah, but you know what you can? The 20 or 30 that you're able to help, and then they can be able to help, and then they're moved towards doing those things. And that's what this organization is about. I'm reaching out to Joseph Grenny about being on an episode because from the crucial conversation aspect, it's incredible. From the
Yeah, that's
other
awesome.
side thing as well, it's just an amazing organization. So much so, so much success that they are starting to have these things pop up in different places to be able to
Yeah,
help people.
so I'm a big fan of taking a holistic approach.
Hmm.
A lot of people just do one thing and don't realize that even if you provide a job, the housing issue, the family issue, the what they do in their off time could drag them back into the to what they were doing previously. But that holistic approach is great. We have a similar company here in Central North Carolina that owns a landscaping company, a moving company. I think they have a maintenance company as well. And if you're someone coming out of prison, you can apply to work for this company, and they have very strict rules of your behavior.
Hmm.
You have to make it to work on time. You have to be a good employee. You have to, all these things that you have to live up to that you'd live up to be a good citizen.
Hmm.
And so they reinforce that behavior, and they have a great reputation for making a difference and for what's the right word? It's recidivism is when you end up back in jail. They have a
Right.
great record for preventing people from ending back up in prison themselves.
I
So
love it.
very
I love
cool.
stories like that, the success stories of that. So we may be leaning towards that in the next coming months with some interview episodes.
That would be great. Yeah.
The family name assist tool is a story that I think is kind of interesting. So there are people, and I support this, that are like, listen, I know we got to do temple work. I should probably be doing it for, you know, like my family, right? Want to make it a little personal. Now, hear me very clearly. I think that if you're doing temple work at all, I think that it's a great thing. But I do think that there is something, maybe elevated meaning when you know, hey, this is a second cousin, one time removed, that I'm helping to do this, or this is my great grandma's, sister. So that would be my
Right.
great great aunt or whatever. But being able to have this family assist tool to be able to take names of people in your family and have it be easy so that you can be as dumb as I am about family history and go, I would like to take a family name as I go to the temple. Beep, boop, beep. It's on my app. It's printed out and it's just lickety split.
I've used it so many times. I think I've mentioned this before. When I travel for work, I used to go to baseball games in the evenings. And years ago, my wife said, "Do you think maybe you should mix some temple attendance into your baseball regimen?"
Good for
And
her.
uh, and so I started carrying my temple clothes with me, and even when I had forgotten them, you can rent them at many of the temples, or they will
Sure.
give them to you for free. But the challenge was I didn't have a name with me. Well, with this tool that's been available now for many years to most members, to all members, we can grab a family name very quickly,
Hmm.
which is great. What I loved about this new tool, the Family Name Assist tool, is this is specifically given to ward leaders as they work with new and or returning members.
Oh, cool.
And one of the focuses for new and returning members is get them to the temple as quickly as possible, even to do baptisms for the dead to start with. And so part of the process of welcoming someone to the church or welcoming someone back is getting them temple ready and temple worthy. And now the leader can use this tool to basically ask the question, hey, who do you want to be baptized for? If you could
Mhm.
choose anyone to be baptized for, well, I'd love to be baptized for my dead grandfather, right, who was not a member of the church. The leader can actually type in the name and it will pop up for them whether that person has been baptized or not.
Mm.
And actually give you the QR code that you can then print out the name paper and have that name to take to the temple.
It's pretty slick. I think I shared this with you. I know that I've shared this fairly recently, but when I had been out of the church for a long time and then came back to the church, it wasn't an app. I didn't make any sort of special request, but the last name of the person whom I was going through the temple for in that time was
Mhm.
Stedman, and I
Oh,
was
that's
like, "All
awesome.
right, all right,
Someone's looking out for you. There's
yes,
you got a
yes."
message.
Yes,
Yeah,
I got that message loud and clear, and so
that's
it was
beautiful.
significant for me, but weepy significant. I was
Of
like, they
course.
told me, and I was like,
I can't believe you can tell the story without weeping still right
well, and
now.
people come and put their arm around me, and they're like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "I haven't been here in a while." And here's the thing, like it's just blubbery
That is so
ridiculousness, but
awesome.
it was a
Oh,
pretty awesome experience to know that
yeah.
God looking out for you, God saying, "Hey, I got you. I'm watching. It
The
matters."
other thing that I love about this tool, which may not matter to most people, is usually they'd make this tool available to the bishop and maybe the Relief Society president, the elders quorum president, the ward mission leader,
Hmm.
and that's it. But not in this case. I love the fact that it's available to all bishopric members, branch presidencies, ward clerks, executive secretaries, elders quorum presidencies, Relief Society presidencies, primary presidencies, young women's presidencies, Sunday school presidencies, and the ward mission and temple and family history leader. They want to give it to anyone who's going to have a conversation with a new or returning member and let them have that natural conversation the right way. I love
Yes,
that.
yes. Well, we've got some other stories we got to get to.
Yep.
We don't. I don't want to continue to be accused of not getting to many stories, although we don't get to a ton of stories. I don't think we're even going to get to the masculinity story today, though we can try. The Tab Cats and the Tabernacle Orchestra heading
Mhm.
down, or has now
They're
performed
now
in
back.
Peru. They're
Yeah,
now back, unpacked their bags, already done the laundry.
they
Significant
have.
that they're down in Peru. I think anytime we can go anywhere that we've never been, it is a massive experience, both spiritual and just secular, to be able to experience the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square.
And it wasn't
Huge.
just the Tabernacle Choir. They brought the orchestra along with them this time, which is fantastic. In Peru itself, they did two concerts. They did kind of a VIP concert, which was hundreds of people attending. And then they did a concert in the National Stadium of Peru, which is a soccer stadium that holds, tens and almost 100,000 people.
Jeez,
And it was sold out. People stood in line for
jeez,
hours. I
jeez.
mean, and I listened to another podcast where one of the podcasters is a member of the choir
Uh-huh.
and talked about how special the event was, but also talked about the fact that Elder Suarez was there with them through all the different activities. And in fact, Mitt and Ann Romney were at all of the various activities. Evidently, they're now on an assignment with the church to help build relationships across foreign countries and nations.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
so they were there, and it was a chance for people to see the influence of the choir, the orchestra, feel that spirit. I've told people many times the most spiritual regular meeting I go to is Sunday mornings at 9:30 at Temple Square. Music and the spoken word gives me the chills literally every single time I've been there. And so I'll make an excuse to go there anytime and skip sacrament meeting when I'm visiting family to do that.
Fascinating to know that about Mitt and Ann. And then you have Mike Levitt, who is the president of the choir, the former governor of the state of Utah. Man, they are
Mhm.
making some large strides to be like, hey, let us come. And then they just announced, and we talked about this, I think, in the last time we did news, that the Tabernacle Choir is going to Brazil
They're going to
next
go in
year?
Argentina in
Argentina
August of this year and then Brazil in February of next year.
next year. Okay, that's what it was. That's what
Yeah,
it was.
I think having them tour is a very smart thing to do.
Yeah.
They are brilliant artists, brilliant renditions of these various hymns. The other thing that I learned is over half of the program they sang was in Spanish.
Get out.
And so they had teleprompters that had the Spanish words as well as the phonetic pronunciation so that the choir members got it all right.
Sure.
And of course, they rehearsed it
Sure.
previously. But I think it was wonderful that they performed in the language of the attendees,
And
which is
what a way to
wonderful.
bring the spirit without being like, "Hello, everyone. We are now going to bring the spirit to you in an overwhelming and heavy-handed." Nope. Like
Nope.
it's just a beautiful, beautiful.
Come to
That's
this
awesome.
concert. Yeah. And evidently, Elder Suarez spoke at the concert to the whole crowd and shared a thought, and so did the Romneys. So
Now,
wonderful.
I haven't gotten word back from him, only that he was attending. But old One Chain Westbrook, who
Oh,
is on
he's
his
in Peru,
sabbatical
right?
down in Peru, he
Yeah.
said he was going to the concert, so we may have to get him to
We'll
at
need a
least give us
report.
the weigh in on what that was like. Uh,
Absolutely.
and so crazy to see that that's where he served his mission, and now he's just back there hanging out for a couple months, and it just looks awesome. He's
He
just
looks like
found
he's
like
having a great time if you follow him. Yeah.
yeah, hanging out at hostels and doing hikes, and he's going to go to Machu Picchu,
Machu Picchu.
and then also oh, what's the movie that everyone Cusco.
Cusco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cusco.
hmm
I was
hmm
thinking of the Emperor's New Groove that everyone
Ah,
that I was
that everyone except me have seen. Yep.
yeah, and I've only seen parts of it. I'm a horrible human being. That's fine. I own it. I own it. Guess why I didn't see it? I was working. I was working. I was at a
And
ski
it's
resort yelling at people passive aggressively.
and there's no chance to watch it on demand anywhere, I'm sure.
Oh no, listen, nowhere. Can you imagine if they just had things on demand to watch
Wouldn't
somewhere?
that be crazy?
Uh I where do we go? We got time. Okay, let's do
Yeah.
three coins in a temple. That's the old song. Three coins in a temple. Literally, when I saw this, I thought of that song and can't get it out of my head. It's an earworm. We're chucking money at the temple.
I had never
Give me
heard
an
of this
idea of
before.
what this is. This is
Yeah, so the
capstone.
evidently back in the day, it was the custom when you're building important new buildings to leave something behind. And so it turns out in the Salt Lake City temple that at the capstone at the very top of the temple, when they removed it, they found literally hundreds of coins. And I thought it was interesting that they were very specific that the vast majority were dimes.
Hmm.
And these dimes had been left by people who had visited while they were completing the temple, including Wilford Woodruff and his family, that put dimes there as well. In some cases, people filed off one side of the dime and carved their initials or their name in the dime when they left it behind. So when they took this capstone off, what I'm imagining now is they lift the capstone and
And
it's
all
like,
these
winning the jackpot in Vegas, all the coins just fall out of the capstone. And there's that urban legend about if you drop a penny off the Empire State Building, that you can
you
kill
kill
someone
people.
below. I'm
Yep.
thinking of people underneath, all the construction workers being pelted by dimes.
But
Um,
nobody died because
Nobody died. No injuries that
they
we're
were
aware of.
inspired to wear their helmets that day,
That's
and
right.
the
That's right.
dimes bounced off. Yeah, all of these coins, I think it's super cool. I like this kind of tradition around it, especially the shaving the down the one side, the putting the initials, and now there's like a treasure trove of who is TDS,
Yeah.
that would have been up here. Who is this person? I don't even know who this person is. There's certainly some value in those coins just in and of themselves. But what I want to know is President Nelson and President Oaks and President Eyring got a pocket full of change, and they're like, guys, we're almost done up here. Come on up. Taking out the change in
I
their
think it would be
pockets.
fantastic to find the 21st century way of doing the same thing,
Yes.
right?
Little a little
Maybe they could use pennies since those are going to be outlawed pretty soon,
oh yeah. And they
right?
should have been a long time
They
ago.
should have been really.
That
Yeah.
is like a change that I can be in agreement with. Yes. What are we doing? Why? Just because we've always had a penny, we don't need a penny anymore.
I don't know about you, but in the last 5 years, I have not taken a single penny in change from anyone I've bought anything from. I've
I
just
can't,
left them.
I cannot tell you as I sit here the last time I paid for cash in anything.
That's because you're such a young whippersnapper.
Well, and I know
Yeah.
it's better for the economy, for local business, blah, 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 cash. Sorry. Guess what? I carry a phone. In the back of the phone, there is a credit card, a debit card, my insurance
Oh,
card,
you don't
my
use your Apple Pay?
and that's it. No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm not that young. I don't trust. I don't trust it.
Wow.
I
I
don't
just
trust
loaded
it.
all my cards into Apple Pay.
What happens if
Yeah.
your phone dies?
Then I go back to my cards.
Yep, but you don't have your cards because they're all loaded into your
Well,
Apple
that's
Pay.
true. Yeah, I guess you have to have be a the Boy Scout training of always be prepared. My phone seldom dies on me. So,
Okay, okay, that's fair. That's fair. But that's why I don't do that. It is.
yeah. I
I
go through
had.
trends. I have times where all I do is cash. A few years ago, I had a coworker and he was Mr. Cash and it rubbed off on me and
Mhm.
I only spent cash for probably 2 years.
Was he
And
cashing envelopes? Was he trying to become a millionaire by taking steps that were the size of a baby?
I'm pretty sure that he's a millionaire
Yeah.
already.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
referring to, I
Yep,
hope.
I know
Okay.
exactly what you're referring to.
Everyone
Yeah.
else is like, what is he talking about? It's coded language, everyone.
That's right. It's a certain philosophy of saving money and
Yeah, I
how to
don't want to
spend
ram
and
it down
budget
your
the right
throat.
way. Yeah, yeah. We don't want to be ramming anything down anyone's throat. We could
Uh,
be accused of being very Ramsey.
yeah,
So
very Ram-like, very Ramsey. Uh, stupid. Yeah, I hope we do. I hope we figure out a 21st century way of doing it, and I hope they tell us how they're doing it.
I think so too. I love those kind of little habits we have in our society that no one thinks about.
Yep.
And I think there's value to keeping those up and value to learning about them over time.
When I renovated my old home, not the home I'm in right now, but the old home, almost like in a child's show that I watched growing up, today's special, where I found a placard behind a wall. People that know what I'm talking about will follow me
Yes.
here. There was behind one of the walls a picture of the family that had lived there before, and it said renovated in this, and they had like in the mud is not the word I'm looking for, but like the masonry stuff, they had done an extra little patch and said blankety blank and had a picture there, and it was hidden behind the
Oh,
wall, and it
beautiful.
was awesome.
It's awesome. I didn't know this. I'm going to tell a little story on my daughter here, and she listens.
Mhm.
But she told me something very cute the other day. We moved from a home we had lived in for 25 years. Our kids all grew up in that home, and we moved just 8 months ago. She shared with me that prior to us finally selling and moving out of the home, she had gone up to the attic, and she actually left a letter
Hmm.
somewhere in the attic. She said she hid it, so someone would have to be moving something around or finding it somehow. But she left a sweet little note for whoever finds the note in the future. And she didn't tell
Oh.
me what was in it, but I just thought that was really sweet that number one, she felt close to the home and wanted to leave something there. And number two, she wanted to leave something for someone else to appreciate,
Hmm.
which is beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I don't want to make light of a serious, sweet thing like that, but I actually talked
Please
to her
do.
daughter, and she said, in the note, she said, my dad is the worst. I can't believe that he sold this house. We grew up here. All of our memories were here. We wanted them to die here so that we could continue to have this home in our family line. But he hates us, and now he's sold this house. So I hope you like it, whoever you are. That was the contents of the letter. So.
That may be more true than you think. Yeah, yeah, that may be so. Yeah, it was interesting. Each of my children did their own special thing to kind of say goodbye to the house. That was
Oh,
hers.
oh.
And I'll tell on my son too because he listens. But he actually, the last time he left the house, he walked out in the backyard just by himself and just stood in the middle of the backyard, just kind of smelling and feeling it and just having his last moment of the house before he left.
Hmm.
It was cute
Those
also.
kind of those kind of things are hard when there's a
They
residence and
are.
all the memories and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
have on multiple occasions gone and drove to old homes that like I grew up in, etc.
No,
And
yeah.
one of the ones where like I don't know, well, I was probably like what how old was I? Like 8 to like 13, 7 to like 13. I knocked on the door and was like, "Can I come in and see this house?"
Wow.
Pretty bold. To
That
which they
is.
said, absolutely not. You absolutely cannot come into this house
Uh,
under
I
no
have driven
circumstances.
past I've driven past all of my old homes. So I mean 4336 Sacramento Avenue, Fremont, California. When I'm in the Bay Area, I drive past that house, sweet memories for me. And then 4614 Richmond Avenue, I drive by that house and and I moan about how they've destroyed the beautiful yard and house that we had, but it's still there.
Yep. We worked so hard on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the buyers of our most recent home, which we spent this 25 years in and had what we thought was maybe the most beautiful yard in the neighborhood.
No.
They have, I've told my wife, you cannot drive by the house. She would be
Oh.
so upset.
Oh no.
And so yeah, the good thing is it's often a cul-de-sac that there's no reason to drive past it otherwise.
That's
So,
good. Good. Keep the sanity. Well, that'll do it.
yes,
I didn't know we were going to talk about old homes in this episode, but we got there. I'm glad
we did.
we arrived at it. Verlin, the news wizard, I appreciate your time as always. Good luck. Remember, bring snacks as you're shopping for the tile and that stuff today. You do not want
No hangry allowed.
hangry on either of you guys.
Amen.
I love that. Are we being practical in the way that we're looking at that? I feel like that can be a kind of a safe question depending on tonality. Is this a practical choice for what we're thinking about doing? Or how would we look at this decision 5 years from now? Even if it has nothing to do with it, I think that it can cause at least a little stop thought to go, are we making a rash decision? And then ultimately, I just love that you're as passionate about this as you are. Thank you for allowing me to be with you.
That's good. That's good. My challenge is that I tend in my personal life to be as irreverent as I am in the podcast and in my religious life.
Mhm.
And I tend to chuckle and make fun of things I shouldn't and get myself in hot water. So I'm
Yeah.
sure that will happen today.
Just don't do it twice. Once is okay. And bring snacks. It means more than you can ever imagine. For real. My wife will bring them for me in her little bag. All right. Are we cranky? Are we feeling cranky?
Yes. Here's your Snickers bar.
Yep. Hope that this episode has nourished and strengthened your body.
And if you weren't healthy enough to listen this week, you'll be healthy enough to listen next week.
And that when the time comes, you will be able to travel home in safety. In the meantime, Chris at Alpine Lakes Travel, Debbie Wanless, Chocolate Cake Bites Podcast, and the Tiger with a U will be saving a seat for you
on the back row of the Cultural Hall.
Save me a seat, it's sure to be neat on the back row. We really gotta go on the Cultural Hall show.